Sasabihin ko. Alright, what's up everyone? It's your boy Mike from Moto Verite, and it is just a few days after Christmas here in the Philippines, and we are on our you could say our year-end ride with the T7 boys. As you can see, it is a foggy afternoon, and we are currently at Ifugao province, and it is 18 degrees Celsius here. And the topic that I'd like to talk to you about is my personal transition from being a street rider to an ADV rider, or an off-road rider. So yeah, first thing I did, even before getting the T7, was to enroll myself in an off-road course. If you would imagine a riding spectrum with a street riding or bike commuting at the middle of the spectrum, at the two ends of the spectrum, for example, is sport bikes, and the other end would be off-road bikes or adventure bikes or dirt bikes or whatever. So the more you move towards one end of the spectrum, whether it be sport biking, sport riding, or adventure riding, or off-roading, I think my personal opinion on that is that the more you move to whatever end of the spectrum, the more skill you need for that specific kind of riding. For casual street riding, there is not much of a learning curve that is required from you. You could get away with a lot of things with street riding or casual riding. There's a lot of room for error as compared to sport riding, sport bikes, and adventure bikes, since you can say quote-unquote extreme genre of motorcycle riding. You really need the necessary skills for you to enjoy your bike for what it was meant for. Example, if you own a sport bike and you want to take it to a racetrack, you just can't take it to a racetrack without having any knowledge whatsoever on trail braking, on body position. You should at least have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Same thing that goes with adventure riding. Since adventure riding, off-roading, it's a whole different animal compared to street riding. Of course, there are a lot of resources on YouTube, but nothing replaces real practical learning, especially if you have a coach standing right next to you, giving live feedback on the things that you should improve on. So that was my very first step in getting into off-road riding. The second thing you should consider if you want to get into adventure riding are the gears. It's similar to the analogy that I have, that the more you move towards one end of the motorcycling spectrum, the more skill is required of you. Therefore, the more skill that is required from you to ride the bike, the more specialized gear is required from you. More skill demands more gear, because ADV riding, it is more demanding on the body, on the bike. Therefore, you really need to invest in the proper equipment. If you're a casual street rider, You could probably get away with you know, just regular sneakers, maybe a light jacket or jeans. Of course, even if you're a street rider, it would still be wise to still invest in proper riding equipment. But sometimes, what I'm trying to say is, but sometimes you can sort of get away with, you know, not having like 100% motorcycle specific clothing. Wearing my street mesh jacket on trails was proved to be too warm. Even if it is a mesh jacket, my personal gear of choice for adventure riding is basically a motocross suit. So I invested in motocross jerseys and motocross pants, and bought external paddings that I just slip on, because it ventilates me very well, and at the same time the external pads offer me the protection needed. Third thing I did to prepare myself for adventure riding is I affiliated myself, or I sought a credible riding group. It's always nice to seek a mentor, someone who can personally guide you through your journey. I probably learned 70% from what I know right now from the mentors that I have in the T7 PH group. It's not really enough for like your group of friends who are all new to off-roading or ADV riding to be teaching yourselves or one another. Nobody will serve as a leader, nobody will serve as a mentor, nobody will serve as a teacher. You really need a credible person or a resource person to tell you the do's and don'ts, guide you through the trails, let you know the right lines to take during trails. It's possible. It is possible that you guys teach yourselves along the way, but you might be at risk of not only damaging the bike but hurting yourself in the process. Plus, the learning curve will take longer. Terrain analysis and reading is why you'd want an experienced off-roader to be with you, and especially when you get yourself into compromising situations. If you stall your bike, if you get your bike stuck in deep mud or in a rut, someone would be there to tell you how to troubleshoot and get out of those tricky spots. Once you've met a good riding group, a good credible riding group that you like, it's not enough that you join the rides like for a couple of times only. As they say, consistency is key. Not only does practice make perfect, but correct practice makes perfect. So consistency and saddle time is what you need to aim for next. Every single trail is different. No two trails are the same, and the more you expose yourself to different kinds of trails, situations, different kinds of terrain like sand, mud, rocky terrains, riverbeds, river crossings, ascent, descents, the more you expose yourself to different situations, the more you learn from it. There are actually two goals that I have in mind whenever I go ADV riding with the T7 boys. My first goal is to apply whatever knowledge or skill set I possess in my toolbox. So it's for me to actually test my current skills depending on the terrain. Also, part of the test skill testing is confidence building and honing whatever you have. Since no two trails are the same, the second goal for me when I go out ADV riding or off-roading is for me to acquire new skills via observing how the more experienced riders attack a hill, or let's say a technical section. I would be very observant on the tips that they call out and how they actually clear a certain section. I would always ask if tama ba itong gagawin ko? Ganito ba yung gagawin dyan? I sort of have an idea in my head on how I'd attack this section, and I just need to validate that with them, or if not, just ask them directly. So I always make sure that after every trail ride, I'm a different kind of rider. I have leveled up my skills, I have sharpened it, and I learned new things about how the bike behaves in certain scenarios, or specifically terrains. Even our ride masters, Sir Bambi and Sir Ron, who has a lot of saddle time off-roading on different bikes, they are still learning more about the capabilities and limitations of the T7. So there you go, guys. I hope you found some merit in some of my tips or steps that I took in transitioning from being a street rider to an adventure bike rider. You could also share some of your personal tips. If you have other ideas, share them on the comment section. Tell me about them. I'd like to hear about it. Alright, the guys are stopping. Ooh! See, I didn't even notice the view because I've been busy talking to you guys while managing the twisties. Oh, nice view. Let's check it out. Oh, this is as close as we got to an actual rice terrace. Okay, but it's not planted with rice anymore. Not really sure what they're planting here, but look over there, there's a nice view over there. So yeah, this is also a good opportunity for us to end our episode for today. If you think you want to see more of this kind of content, be sure to let me know by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram page on ADV Adventure Storytelling on 2 wheels. That's _1horizon _1 and horizon. Alright guys, thank you very much. We're just gonna hang out here for a while, soak in the view and the weather. Until next adventure, guys. See you guys around. Whoop whoop. What's up?